I am so glad everyone is here. Well, not everyone, because I don't think everyone got their notification, but we know how YouTube works and social media. You can tag everyone all day, they won't get it, and it's okay. Hello, Kiki. Diva's in the house. Hello, Angela. My girl, Angel P, Luana, Chloe J. Well, hello, Allie Brooks. Hello, Connie, Katie A. Okie Bree made it in. This case of Madeline Soto is beyond disturbing. And I mean beyond. I stomached, and it took a while, to go through the second probable cause against Mr. Disney. Bestiality, many different ages. People say these are different children. No, I believe it's a long time of abuse against Madeline. Rumors have been circulating all day. They say they're going to release the cause and manner today. Some say Stefan, whatever he wants to call himself. I just call him Mr. Disney. Unalived himself. That there will be murder charges. That Jen has been arrested. Who would know? Who would know? But they don't schedule press conferences in the middle of the afternoon or nothing. Connie said arrest maybe? Could be. If it's cause and manner of death, I would hope that they are not going to release that on live television. That is the reason I debated between even having this live. Reason being is because we know Madeline Soto was beyond disrespected in life. So what was done to her after should be saved for trial. But I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. If I made the rules, this would never have happened to her. If I made the rules, people would have to have a license to get pregnant. If I made the rules, background checks would have to be made on any man or woman that move in with someone that has minor children. I don't make the rules. I wish I did. Angela said it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? It's about to be 5 o'clock for me real quick because I have a feeling this is going to stress me the hell out. So before we get to our pre-show, before the press conference, let's just please take a second and tell everyone, hola. We do have a room for Maddie in the Crime Lines and Lies Discord. where we have discussed the probable cause. And again, it is one of the most disturbing things I have ever read in my life. When it takes me that long to get through one probable cause, you know there's an issue. Not like I just sped read, however you say it, Gannon Stouches, or JJ, or Tylee, or any of them. What this man did to Madeline for many years upset me to my core. I don't know, besides the graphic nature of the probable cause, which has to be done. We know that. Detectives just can't say, oh, kind of sounds like, he might have kissed her on the cheek. Doesn't work that way. It's going to be graphic. I see some very disturbing comments when people say, well, Summer Wells' probable cause is going to be even worse. Is your brain broke? Are you really wanting to wish worse on one child than the other? Are you sick? For those of you that are joining from Facebook, if you want, you can jump in. I can see your comments. You just can't communicate with everybody else in here. But I want to communicate with Phil 413 for making it rain. Got to play the music. Thank you so much, Phil, for supporting the channel, growing the community. Anything you guys can do for this community is more than appreciated. If you want to donate to the channel, that's on you. If you want to share our lives to your socials, more than appreciated. Whatever you can do and whatever you need from me, I can do for you. My girl Samantha said, I'm on the edge of my seat. You better believe it. Okay, so this is what came out today.
Matter of hours, we could learn new information surrounding the death of a 13-year-old Central Florida girl found dead after going missing. Kissimmee police are set to give an update in the Madeline Soto investigation. News 6's Mark Lehman joins us live from Kissimmee this morning. And Mark, so far, no one has been charged with her death.
Yeah, law enforcement says the boyfriend of Madeline's mother is the prime suspect, but he hasn't yet been charged in her death and said he's in jail on dozens of other charges. Now, later today, Kissimmee police say they have an update on the progress of what's been a complex case.
Well, if Mr. Disney is the only one that has harmed Madeline in more ways than one, if he's the prime suspect, why is it so complex? Is it because there's a pedo ring? Is it because mom's involved? I'm not an investigator. I'm not a detective. What is complex? Peas in a Pod, the captain of our coin pusher team, said someone had to help him take those pics unless he has 3 arms. I agree, Peas.
For weeks now, the Hunters Creek community has been showing support for Madeline Soto, the 13-year-old girl who authorities believe was murdered by her mother's boyfriend. As many questions remain about what happened, we could soon be getting some answers.
This is still an active and ongoing investigation.
Kissimmee police say they'll be highlighting progress of the investigation today. It comes just over a week after 60 charges were filed against Stephen Stearns, among them sexual battery on a child and molestation. Detectives believe Stearns documented much of the abuse on his phone for years, and it's that discovery that led deputies to arrest him before Madeline's body was found. She was reported missing in February. Stearns told law enforcement he dropped her off at school, but Orange County Sheriff John Mina says that never happened.
Never happened. Question is why did mom say she laid eyes on Madeline that morning and describe her attire? They said she was dead early that morning. Nobody goes to bed unless they have had a fifth of wild turkey in their jeans. She came home from her birthday party. We already know what she was wearing there. It's in the thumbnail. You're telling me she put jeans on to go to sleep? Who put the jeans on her? Why say you saw your child in different clothing than what she was found in? Raise your hand if you sleep in jeans. I don't think so. Who put the jeans on her? She went to the birthday party in a cute little dress. She came home, supposedly told her mom that she loved her party, loved her gifts. Her mom said she saw her the next morning. She had on black shorts, an army green hoodie, and white Crocs, but she was found in jeans.
Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time and that Stephen Stearns moved her body in the early morning hours on that day.
Deputies say they spotted Madeline on surveillance video with Stearns, found her backpack tossed in a dumpster, and then discovered her body in rural St. Cloud. Stearns is scheduled to be arraigned on his current charges on April 2nd. The question now is, will more charges be coming after today's update? That's scheduled here at the Kissimmee Police Department at 2 this afternoon. We'll be here and live stream that on clickorlando.com. For now, reporting live in Kissimmee, Mark Lehman, Getting Results, News 6.
Diva said, I hope mom will be charged for lying at least. If mom is not mentioned in this press conference today, then that means Brooks, your hostess here, smells a proffer agreement. We've seen it before. And yes, his trial date has already been set for the most disturbing images on his phone of the little girl that he supposedly raised and loved and fathered. He skipped his first hearing. He will be arraigned in early April, but his trial is in early May.
Set for the prime suspect in the death and disappearance of a 13-year-old girl. Madeline Soto was found dead in a wooded area in St. Cloud. Stephen Stearns has not been charged in her death, but will stand trial in May for dozens of child sex charges. Channel 9's Daryl Matthews has covered every development in this story. And Daryl, Stearns is due back in court next month.
Yeah, Martha, April 2nd, to be exact, will be his arraignment date, April 24th, pre-trial, and the trial May 13th. And now the state attorney's office tells me that those are set arraignment dates unless they're waived. And in this case, Stearns did waive that date, and those were the next court dates picked by the court system. He's sitting in a jail cell right now, and if convicted of child sex crimes he's accused of, Stephen Stearns could spend the rest of his life in prison, regardless of what happens in the investigation into the death of 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
I don't think this case is going to go. And if the murder charges are added, you're going to be 1.5 years, 2 years away before this case comes to trial.
Stephen Stearns, the prime suspect in the disappearance of Madeline Soto, is the boyfriend of...
Look at that. Him rubbing Jen's ass. She's rubbing his shoulder. Are you okay, Mr. Disney? How gross. You're telling me that Jen Soto did not know between doing laundry and being around her own daughter that her daughter was being violated left and right. And she's comforting him.
Stearns, the prime suspect in the disappearance of Madeline Soto, is the boyfriend of Soto's mother. He was the last person seen with a 13-year-old. In May, he'll stand trial not for her disappearance, but rather dozens of sex crimes.
If the defense is not ready for trial, which I don't think they will be, at that trial date, they're going to move to continue to give them more time to examine the evidence.
So far, investigators have examined enough for the state's attorney's office to charge Stearns with 60 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12 and lewd or lascivious molestation. Stearns has not been charged in Maddie's death, as law enforcement continues to investigate and has yet to charge anyone.
They're waiting for all of the evidence to come in so they can carefully look at it, analyze it, and make an informed decision as to the murder charge.
Now, former Chief Judge Belvin Perry presided over the Casey Anthony case. He says right now he's commending law enforcement for taking their time to go through evidence and DNA to find out how Maddie died, taking out anyone who's not involved in her murder, and holding the person responsible without making any mistakes. We're live in Orlando. Daryl Matthews, Channel 9 Eyewitness.
It really pisses me off that that judge comes out and talks all the time about how people should do things when he failed in the Casey Anthony case immensely. He caved to political pressures because Jeff Ashcroft was running for governor. He wasn't just a prosecuting attorney. He was the district attorney. I understand a judge can't give legal advice sometimes, but behind closed doors, You don't know what's going to happen. They all failed in that case. All right, before we get to it, let's look at this, please. This is our friend Paolo. He's talking about what will happen to Mr. Disney behind bars. And yes, he has been to jail before.
First time seeing one of my videos. I have served 10 years in the state prison system, and I feel like I can give a lot of insight into what the treatment and lifestyle and expectations for Stephen Stearns will be if he's convicted on what he's charged with and sent to prison in Florida. I feel like this is something that a lot of you probably have never considered or thought about before when I really get into the details of how things work in there, especially for someone in his position, which, well, I mean, let's be honest, is not good with the things he's charged with. And if you don't know who that is, Stephen Stearns, I'll do a quick recap and just give you a brief breakdown of what's going on with him. Stephen Stearns is the 37-year-old boyfriend of the mother of Madeline Soto. Now, Madeline Soto is a little girl. She was murdered just hours after her 13th birthday party. Now, Stephen Stearns has not been charged or arrested for her murder, but police have named him the prime suspect. Now, this aside, during the investigation for Madeline Soto, police discovered lots of CP, okay, child images that are not good.
And it is called CP. Some people will say, oh, you can't call it that because porn is voluntary. Children don't volunteer for that. Listen, I have read every damn document, and it all says CP. Wishful thinking, Pickle Whisper, cool name. At Crime Lines and Lies, do you think the mother is going to be arrested? At this juncture, I do not. Reason being, I think considering the fact that she lawyered up, she has been caught lying so many times, I believe 100% she is going to make a deal with the prosecutors.
On his cell phone and other things, I believe 40 counts, 40 photos or images, pieces of material that he should not have. Now, in addition to that, he also has some other terrible charges. I'll put them on the screen right here. This is everything he's charged with right now. So this is what he'll be going to court for, unless he is eventually charged also with the murder of Madeline Soto. Just have to see how that plays out. But right now, let's talk about what would happen to him after he goes to court for this, if he gets found guilty and sentenced to prison time. Okay, but also some of the things he's charged with in the state of Florida, he can get the death penalty for. Now, if he gets the death penalty and he goes to death.
And this is a friendly reminder. Every state is different. You have some states that will let you walk on your own recognizance for almost killing a person. Don't get me going on those states. Then you have states like Florida that say, USA, film it, possibly sell it, because you can't tell me old Santa Claus is a coinky-dink. You can't be reformed. That means you get death. We will give you a greased up elevator, the fastest one we can, to hell. so he can get the death penalty just for what he's done. And I don't mean just. Don't take it the wrong way. The 60 counts of CP, SA, bestiality, all of the things he has done against Madeline, he can get the DP. Some states don't do it that way.
Death row. That will definitely change my analysis on what I think is going to happen, because when you're on death row, I mean, really, you're very isolated, completely isolated. And I don't really think there's going to be any opportunity for anyone to get to him. If we're talking about, hey, if he goes, or is everybody going to want to get their hands on him and beat him up, stab him up, kill him, what? There's not really going to be a lot of opportunities for that on death row, because it's just so isolated and secluded from everyone else. Now, putting that to the side, he can get life in prison, up to life in prison for these charges. How do things work there for guys who have charges like him? All right. Every state prison is different. Does it happen to guys who go in there with these charges? Absolutely. Bad things happen. I think that's what everybody's really wondering here. If you clicked on this video, he's got these charges. They're bad charges. Inmates, no matter what they did, they don't like, especially people who have those kinds of charges. They're going to get them, right? What's going to happen to them? Well, of course, they don't like people with those kinds of charges. But I think a lot of people think there's these like just set in stone rules of, hey, if you go to prison and you do this, then this happens. If you go to prison and you have these charges, this happens. Every time, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's what happens. And that's not true. It really, really depends on who it is, what they did. I mean, the actual specific person, where they're at, the state, the specific prison, which part of the prison, and what other inmates are around this guy. So does it happen? Of course. Does it happen to every single one who goes into prison? No, or else you'd hear about that every single day. There would be none in prison because they'd all just get killed. Right. But it definitely happens. I mean, right here's an article you can see that's pretty recent. The headline here, it was a guy in Florida state prison who was killed, inmate on inmate violence. And he had those kinds of charges. He had child charges, kitty charges, inmates call them. Anything that falls under that umbrella. So yeah, an inmate killed him. Now, here's the thing. You don't know if he killed him for that reason. Same thing with Larry Nassar. It's a bit different. He was in the Florida prison, but not a state prison. He was in a federal prison. So, if Stephen Stearns goes to prison, he definitely won't be in the same prison that Larry Nassar was. But Larry Nassar was that gymnastics coach.
Okay, we're starting.
Since then, our investigation has
Simi, Chief Betty Holland will be providing remarks about the progress of the investigation. After that, she will open the floor for questions. We are not doing one-on-one interviews after the press conference. If you have any questions that are not related to this case, please send an email to kpdpio@kissimmee.gov. At the end of the press conference, you will receive a package with information about the case in English and Spanish. Now, I would like to introduce Chief Betty Holland.
We'll break down what we have learned after the press conference concludes.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today and allowing us to provide an update on our investigation into Madeline Soto's disappearance and death. Madeline was reported missing on Monday, February 26, 2024, just one day after her 13th birthday. Since then, our investigation has been relentless, fueled by the unwavering commitment to uncover the truth. During our forensic investigation, we uncovered disturbing evidence, graphic images, and videos depicting crimes being committed. It was during this examination that we learned we needed to act swiftly to remove the suspect, Stephen Stearns, from our streets. Despite the arrest, our investigation into her disappearance remained ongoing. We understand the importance of thoroughly exploring every lead and piece of evidence. The Kissimmee Police Department, along with other law enforcement agencies in Central Florida, continue their search for Madeline for the next several days following her disappearance, and we turn to the public for help. During this time, our investigators combed through a significant number of tips, and on March 1st, we received information placing Stern's vehicle in a rural area of St. Cloud, where ultimately Madeline's body was discovered. We are all deeply saddened by the outcome of Madeline's disappearance. The Kissimmee Police Department continues to piece together the timeline leading up to the events that occurred. I want to address some questions we are receiving from the media in everyone's effort to keep the community up to date on this tragedy. At this time, Stearns is facing a total of 60 charges related to our investigation. This includes sexual battery, lewd and lascivious molestation, and unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child. These charges reflect the meticulous work of our law enforcement community. Our detectives also are working closely with the State's Attorney's Office for the 9th Judicial Circuit and the Medical Examiner's Office on the investigation. Death investigations are complex. Tasks like forensic analysis and thorough interviews are crucial and require careful attention. It is vital to address these misconceptions in the pursuit of justice while preserving the integrity to the case. During an investigation such as this one, we gather additional information from individuals close to the deceased. Each person interviewed is treated as involved until proven otherwise. This is a standard protocol to ensure all the facts are uncovered. During our investigation, we have interviewed many individuals. Each interview has been vital to our understanding of the case. We are reviewing all of the information we received and are following up on every lead. Attention to detail and the diligence are the most important aspects of this investigation. We are committed to transparency and will provide updates when possible. Madeline's story has touched the hearts of many. Rest assured, our department is diligently working on the investigation. And while we appreciate the public's interest, we must prioritize the integrity of the investigation. We appreciate your support and understanding as we gather the facts. We intend to release additional information in the future, providing more details that we do not compromise the ongoing investigation. We vow to do everything in our power to ensure Madeline's memory is honored with justice. Our detectives are dedicated to pursuing every lead, uncovering every fact, and holding those responsible accountable. Now I will open it up for any questions.
Chief, I have a question. We know that you're working behind the scenes during this investigation to make sure everything is in order, but what can you tell us new today that we don't already know?
I don't have anything new that you don't already know, other than our detectives are working tirelessly day in and day out to ensure, all the facts are uncovered in this investigation.
Chief Holland, is the mother a suspect or a person of interest in this investigation? And also with the videos that you uncovered, is there any evidence of the mother's involvement on any of these videos?
So everyone that was close to Madeline is considered suspect until we have proven otherwise.
Chief, how close are we able to know what actually happened to Madeline Soto?
Well, this is a very sensitive and, it's very intricate. We want to make sure that we uncover every single fact and all the evidence before, we don't want to put a timeline on it, basically, because the detectives are very meticulous in what they do. And we want to be sure that everything is uncovered that possibly can.
Chief, can you release any information about the manner in which Maddie died at this point?
No, ma'am, we are still waiting on the medical examiner's report.
Chief, do you believe Maddie was killed inside of the family's home or somewhere else?
We're still uncovering all of those details. I'm not going to speculate on that until we have the facts.
Chief, can you tell us if Stephen Stearns acted alone in all of this?
We're still uncovering all the evidence. I don't want to speculate whether he was or not. We will wait until the investigation, is completed to make that determination.
Has Stephen Stearns said he acted alone, or what has he said in interviews with you? Since we know he's in jail for these,
yes.
What has he told you about other people's involvement, if any?
He has invoked his right to a lawyer, so we have not spoke with him.
Is there any time that you can expect an update for us? The public is asking every single day, and we understand that you're working on the investigation, but we would like to give them something.
I don't want to rush my detectives. I think it's paramount that they take their time. And, Mr. Stearns is not going anywhere. He's in jail and he's going to be there for a while. So my detectives, I want them to be, just look at every single detail and make sure. But I don't want to give a timeline at this point.
You mentioned you're working closely with the medical examiner. What does that relationship kind of look like, and what information are they able to release to you before that exam is complete?
So not really. I wouldn't say that they've released an information. We depend on the medical examiner's report for our report. So we're going to have to wait until they release that report.
Do you believe there are any additional victims?
No, it appears that this all was isolated to the home.
Chief, I'm still trying to get a sense of things. Do you still feel like you have more questions than answers at this point?
I think our questions are being answered slowly but surely. For the integrity of the investigation, we have to, keep things close until such time as we hold those accountable for her death.
Chief, do you feel like this is taking longer than it should because Stearns is not speaking?
No, I just think that, sometimes these investigations are just very lengthy. We know that he is in jail and he is not going anywhere. So the detectives are just making sure they cross the T's and dot their I's. They want to put together, a foolproof investigation.
Chief, is the mother and the family members being cooperative and answering questions? Have they lawyered up? And also the father of Madeline, who is not a Florida resident, is he a part of this investigation, or at least being asked questions?
We have interviewed, all those family members that are close. Mother has cooperated. She did give us an interview. So there's, no one is not cooperating other than Stearns.
We know that the crimes were committed in the home. We also have, the date of birth of the person, but we have not confirmed that that is Madeline Soto. Would you be able to confirm that information for us?
Right. So all of the charges are with children under the age of 18, and they are protected. Their identity is protected under the law.
So it's gonna expect. It's been a couple of weeks. Nobody's charged for the murder of Madeline. Nobody knows exactly what happened to Madeline. We can expect in the couple of days someone is gonna face charge for the murder of Madeline Soto.
When the detectives put their case together, like I said before, they want to ensure their investigation is tight. We're working, hand in hand with the state attorney's office to ensure, every piece of evidence is revealed and uncovered. So I can't put a timeline on when that might be.
And Chief, with his cell phone, there's one thing I understand here. So he originally went to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. At least that's what we understand. He gave the cell phone to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office then found something on his phone, which led to an arrest. In the arrest affidavit from Kissimmee PD, it says he offered his phone freely to Kissimmee PD. Can you kind of explain how that happened? Because I just have a tough time understanding how somebody who's been arrested for something on his phone freely gives a phone up again.
Well, I don't know the intricate details I do know that the Orange County Sheriff's Office and Kissimmee Police Department were working hand in hand, during, the actual disappearance investigation. So I don't want to speak on exactly how that happened, but it's not uncommon for us to ask someone if they want to, give up their phone.
Chief, is there anything in particular that keeps you up at night regarding this case?
Well, a lot of things keep me up at night. My takeaway from this is talk to your children, families, talk to your kids. Know that there are agencies out there, the abuse hotline, Help Now, that people can report suspicion to. And I would encourage mothers and fathers to have those conversations with the kids and be aware.
Last question.
Have you guys investigated this family before?
Not for anything like this, no ma'am.
I'm sorry, can we just confirm how long that relationship was, the mother and the stepfather?
That is still being under investigation. We're trying to get the timeline for that.
Chief, I have one more question. This is a case that became really big out of nowhere for a lot of people, but what has the department learned through all of this so far?
Well, this was a very tragic event. I think that, like I said earlier, it's up to us, up to each family member to have those conversations with your kids and report any suspicion of abuse to your school resource officer, to an adult that's a trusted adult, to any police officer that's out there. So just report it and let the law enforcement community investigate. Thank you.
Okay. So at first I was puzzled, and the more she spoke in plurals, I'm not. We already know what Mr. Disney did. But when I hear words like those, everyone's a suspect, the people involved, others, I'm going to drop the link and see if anybody wants to come up and discuss, because I see what's going down the pike. I heard a very clear question. That the chief danced around, which rang clear as a bell. Samantha, if you're here, if you can grab the link, I would love to hear your take on this. Yes, the images were found after the accidental factory reset on Mr. Disney's phone. Who took the pictures? Our friend Samantha is coming up from backstage. I think she is smelling what I'm stepping in. Let's have a round of applause for Samantha. Hello, Samantha. I am so happy to see you on panel. I cannot wait to hear what you got at this press conference. I did see some people are saying nothing burger, not even an update. I think there was a lot more to it.
Can you hear me okay?
I'm right here, girlfriend.
Yeah, there is a lot more to it. Hi, everybody in chat. Yeah, all the plurals. It just really seems like I'm thinking like an S ring here, or the mother. I actually am starting to think might be involved. I've been sitting on the shelf a little bit on that one, and everybody a suspect until proven otherwise. Kind of just, yeah, I'm wondering if she's a suspect now. I'm wondering how many other people are involved in this, how many other children are involved in this. This is a lot bigger than I thought it was, and I don't think that it's just, yeah, your Disney character here.
The date of birth on the unredacted probable cause affidavit is Maddie's. And it is multiple ages, multiple dates. There is a high probability of distributing these images. It would be so simple for the chief to say, no, her mother is not a suspect. She said everyone's a suspect.
Yeah. And she even said, you know, we've talked to the mother, we've interviewed her, and we've spoken with other family members. And she's still.
Once until she lawyered up. Stefan, Mr. Disney, whatever he wants to call himself now, he's not cooperating because he instantly lawyered up. Who is he protecting besides his own skin?
Yeah, very true. Very true. It's very, very telling. At first, like you said, I was just like, what? That's it? Like, that's all we're going to see? But once questions started being asked, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's something bigger going on here.
I look at where Madeline's body was found in the wrong clothes.
Yeah, and
her mother, which is not far away from where Santa lived and was arrested when Homeland Security didn't just do a knock knock. They busted down the door. I'm listening to certain words because law enforcement, excuse me, has different verbiage. Totally different verbiage than we do. And they're only going to do an update. Why? Because they have nothing else to do this afternoon? Why? Because social media is asking what's going on? They don't do it that way. I heard specific words, a lot of plural. Those, the others. What else did you hear, Samantha?
Well, those are pretty much it. Those, the others, and, you know, everyone's a suspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that that's really telling because not once have we heard that mom wasn't involved or nothing. And yeah, she has lawyered up. And like I said, I've been on the fence about her, and I started wondering after she came out and said that she saw Madeline in clothes before school at 8 a.m. when we all know she was unalive at that time. You have him putting her stuff in the garbage at 7:35 a.m. So, I mean, how did she see her at 8 a.m. in the morning? And ever since then, I've been slowly turning in the opposite direction. And now after this press conference, after just hearing everyone's a suspect, mom has an attorney, they've spoken to her once and they're still not clearing her publicly. Yeah, I just think that there is a lot involved. And I missed your show on that man, and I mean to go back and watch it that you're talking about, that you're calling, what do you call him, Santa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that show. I've been meaning to go back and watch it to find out who the hell that is.
It's all isolated to the home. That is very significant. That is very important.
Well, yeah, in the affidavit, it speaks about, you know, the pictures that they had from his phone.
Mm-hmm.
These pictures are coming from inside the home. Underwear, sheets, just, you know, other items in the house pointing directly to being inside the house. And, you know, he is never working. He's always unemployed. And I'm actually curious and I'm wondering, and this is my opinion only, because I'm kind of speculating here, but is his side job selling these pictures to other pedos?
That's what I want to know. Because
I mean, he constantly has money coming in from somewhere.
some of the pictures that were described, and I have to be very careful about the way I see it, would take an octopus to get a clear shot of what's described in the probable cause affidavit, the second one.
Oh, that one was disgusting.
Mhm.
It was so disgusting. Yeah, I agree. How are those pictures taken?
Mhm.
Because it's very in detail, and some of those, yeah, some of those pictures. How in the hell are you going to get pictures of some of that stuff unless they're what? Wow, it's all kind of like coming into perspective now.
Oh, it's freaking me out to no end. I will say this. I mean, we know that Mr. Disney had his whole thing about Digimon, and he wanted to meet children and things like that to exchange Digimon. Kim says, why don't we know who bought the photos? Oh, girl, that's a matter of Homeland Security. That's going to take a long time to figure out. I mean, I wish we could have everything today. I think about this. When Jen Soto said, I'm home 24/7, this is my only income. When she wanted to walk people's dogs. I'm home 24/7 and walking dogs is her only income. Well, if you're home 24/7, then how did you not notice Jafar, because he did play Jafar at Disney, taking pictures of your daughter in some of the most cruel and inhumane ways you can treat anyone, let alone a child. But you're home 24/7.
Was she home 24/7, or is that what she's just posting for her dog ad? Do we know if she was at work the night before Madeline disappeared? I mean, like 100% for sure that she was at work.
To be quite honest, I don't know. She could have been setting the scene for when he got back with her. I don't know.
That's the one thing going through my head. Like, when it comes to mom. Was mom at work that night? So many people want to say that she was, and then I've heard that she wasn't. I've heard she slept in really late and that wasn't a normal thing that mom did. But then you have her saying that she saw her at 8 a.m. in the morning before she left to go to school, which we know is not possible. So if mom was home, how could she not know something was amiss when it comes to Madeline being unalive? How could she not know? Now, if she was at work, that kind of changes things because she wasn't there. But then you still have her statement saying that she saw Madeline at 8 a.m. in the morning. So you have to make that make sense. And it doesn't make sense.
The birthday party was planned for when mom couldn't be there. There is no verification that mom was at work on Sunday. None. None at all. Then Madeline gets home with Mr. Disney. We've seen pictures of her that her grandmother posted from the birthday party. She looks totally different than she does at age 12, which I'm not going to read too much into that. Some people say she's pregnant. I don't know. I don't know. The medical exam.
I've heard that too.
We'll have to talk about that. I don't know. Just because someone's got a poofy belly doesn't mean they're pregnant. That would mean I'm pregnant right now too. You would have to call the National Enquirer, okay? I'm not pregnant. Then mom says she saw her the next morning. Yet Madeline, the time of death is really going to tell a lot. You know as well as I do, time in these cases means everything. The time of death is really going to sail this home, and it's really going to screw old Jen Soto up. Because for you to lawyer up, which, hey, you know what? Get a lawyer. But you've given one interview to the investigators. One.
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me. A mom that wants not, well, we know you want your child found first off, so you're going to talk to law enforcement and tell them everything you know. But knowing what she knows now about her boyfriend, you would think she would be giving them as much information as she possibly could. And I even understand the lawyering up. There are a lot of people that are speculating about whether or not mom was involved. Sure, lawyer up. But why did you stop talking? Why stop talking? And then what's up with the medical examiner? I mean, why is it taking so long for this to come out? That's also kind of bothering me. You'd think that all of that would be done by now.
Well, she was, her body was found on March 1st, and today is March 21st. So, I mean, normally it takes about 6 weeks unless there's something else going on.
Yep. There's a lot of rumor going around. I've noticed inside of the Facebook group about that picture and her belly, and people speculating on whether or not she was pregnant. So we'll, after everything comes out, we'll know. All we can do is kind of sit back and watch. And in the meantime, yeah, I'm just slowly starting to turn more towards mom knowing something, which is really super sad because I really, in the beginning, just felt like mom didn't have a clue.
So
because it just makes it that much more horrible.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mean, I would like to pretend that the mom knew nothing. I would like to pretend that. But I have never seen a mother next to Candace Wells there's been a few others, not advocate for the justice for their murdered child.
Exactly, and that's what it's coming down for me right now. One interview with police, I would give 1,000 interviews to police. I would give any interview that they needed and wanted, and I would answer any question that I needed to answer when it came to my boyfriend. Anything, come and talk to me. I will give you what you want because I want the person responsible for my daughter's death to go down. So what's up with that? Why isn't she talking? And if this lawyer, believes that his client is innocent, why not let her talk? I mean, is it the attorney himself keeping her from talking?
Oh, I think the attorney is telling her, don't say another word. You've done enough damage by lying to the police. You've done enough damage by talking to the news. You have done enough damage just with your lies. You gave a fake description of seeing your daughter the morning of her murder and disappearance. You said she had on black shorts and a hoodie. She was found in jeans. You cannot show anything showing you were at work the night of her birthday party. Yolanda, Jen Soto's mother, is the one that hosted the birthday party. So what are you doing not being at your daughter's birthday party?
That actually has been a question of mine also. Did she not get along maybe with her family members? And grandma was just like throwing the party or something, and she didn't go because she didn't get along with family? Because throughout this entire thing, even though, you have Madeline's grandma, aunties, everybody in the family passing out flyers and everything else, you don't see them physically around mom, supporting mom. So
No,
what does that mean?
no, not at all. But I mean, no one's going to have a birthday party for my children and me not be there. It's the other way around. Well, I'll make
Well,
it back.
true, but we also don't know, did mom kind of maybe have like a little cupcake party or a little something for her on her actual birthday? Because Sunday wasn't her actual birthday. So we don't know, maybe they went out to dinner or celebrated or did something together, for her birthday, and then family was like, hey, because maybe they don't get along, we'd like to do something for Madeline over the weekend, if that's okay. I mean, I would allow my child to go be with other family members if I had already done something with my child. I just think it's really telling that you're not seeing these family members around Jen. I mean, even some of the footage that I've seen.
Birthday party was at Yolanda's, but Jen had to work. That was her birthday party.
But you're saying there's no proof of her being at work?
Not that I know of. I mean, she could have been at work. She could have worked a double. I don't know. But she says she got home. She spoke with Maddie. Maddie said she loved the birthday party, loved her presence, and she saw her the next morning. Impossible.
Yeah. Just, it's not adding up. That's for sure.
Black shorts, army green hoodie, white Crocs. Impossible. Facts are facts, Jen Soto.
Do you think Mr. Creepy here could have put pants on her for a reason? Kind of just speculating a little bit here. I mean,
someone
maybe because
she came home in her birthday party dress. I've seen the timestamps. I've seen the date stamps.
Right. Yep, me too.
And she's found in jeans.
He's just so creepy. This is awful. And it makes it even more awful for me to even be sitting here thinking mom could have some kind of involvement, because that's her mom. She's supposed to be able to talk to her mom, tell her mom anything, and to just think that this mother could be involved with all of what we know happened after reading these sickening affidavits, could have had anything whatsoever to do with that, is just absolutely disgusting. I mean, it's disgusting anyway, but that's a mother of a child. And what the hell is happening? What is happening to our children? What is happening? Parents aren't parents anymore. Mothers and fathers don't seem to give two about their children anymore. You hear about more abuse, more neglect, people even flat out torturing their children, and it's just so disturbing, and it's just a constant thing that we're seeing these days. What the hell is going on?
Why lie when you call the police that your daughter is missing? Why say I went to the school to pick her up? We dropped her off at the church, not school. I don't care what I'm driving. I would say, no, I'm taking your ass to school. And if you want to walk from a block away, I'm going to walk with you.
Well, yeah, we know.
We dropped her off. And then she says, no, my partner did. Then she said she went to pick her up at 4:45. That is not when school is out. And then I emailed a teacher. Then she called the police at 8 p.m. Hence why today the chief said everyone's a suspect.
She also said that she went and drove to her grandma's work because it wasn't too far away from the school.
Yeah, she thought that Maddie might have gone over to her grandma's office. I can't wait to see if that's verified because I have a feeling she never did it. The first call you would make is to Mr. Disney and say, I'm here to pick her up. Is she already home? Did you pick her up instead? Why wait till 8 o'clock that night?
Yeah, and it's all going to come out because you know damn well they took her phone too. So they're going to have pings. They're going to have her phone calls. They're going to know how she actually tried, looking for Maddie. And I'm right there with you on the whole 8 p.m. waiting thing. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to the school. I'm going to go pick up my child. If they're not there and I can't find them, and I might look a couple places, but I can guarantee you I'm not waiting 3 or 4 hours to call law enforcement and say my kid's missing when I can't find them. I'm making maybe a couple phone calls, maybe. And then I'm going to be calling law enforcement immediately saying my kid wasn't at school. As a matter of fact, the moment that she found out that Maddie wasn't even at school that day would have been when I would have called law enforcement. That would have been
would email a teacher and lie and say the school was locked up when it wasn't. And then you go to your mom's office to see if she went over there. No, Jen Soto. We already know that Mr. Disney is a sicko. We know that. But there's many, many questions here. Who murdered Maddie? Who was holding her legs up for those pictures?
Oh, good Lord.
Who was taking the pictures when she was forced to give something to Mr. Disney? Who spread her butt cheeks for pictures? Who? Who put her in jeans? No girl is going to come home and throw on a pair of jeans after a birthday party to go to bed.
Unless she was hoping and praying that he couldn't touch her, or it would be harder for him to get to her if she had jeans on. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just so sick. And she was talking about wanting to run away. She was talking to people. This is why I think Madeline is no longer with us, because she started to open up and talk about what was happening to her, and he found out about it. Or mom found out about it. Now I have to say mom. This is gross. Yeah, I just knowing that she finally got the courage to talk about it. And then this is what happens to her. And unfortunately, this is what happens when they're groomed and stuff.
Well, think about it. She was telling her friends, as soon as I turn 13, I'm going to go out into the woods and I'm going to live alone. They gave her one last hoorah, and guess where we are now?
Well, I know I've heard several creators say it before, but I will say it. At least she had a very good birthday Sunday with family, was happy with her family on Sunday.
Powder
And she
puff.
doesn't have to.
Madeline is no longer with us. What? Yes, she was found unalived. This is a huge ring, and the huge ring could be what the chief said. It all happened within their apartment.
Really man, I'd really like to just find out about mom's job, what her hours were. I mean, because if she worked nights, I mean, was this just something going on at night when mom was gone? Because I hate speculating about mom being involved. I really just want to believe that she wasn't. I really, really do. Because it just makes it that much more horrible, doesn't it? Just.
Well, I didn't make her a suspect. The chief did. I mean, I know many other cases where parents are not involved and they might have attorneys to help them guide through things or in case they need a lawsuit or something, but they still cooperate with law enforcement because they want answers for their child. Nicey Marie said the way mother said she really enjoyed her birthday presents. I did hear that inflection in her voice.
Yeah, I wish mom would talk more. That might make me feel a little bit more comfortable, but unfortunately, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Mom isn't talking to police. She's lawyered up. She's not talking anymore. I would be telling them everything, anything. They could ask me anything. It doesn't make sense. Even if the world, because we all know, I mean, in this day and age, when a child goes missing, parents are always looked at. Parents are always looked at. Sometimes it doesn't even matter when law enforcement clears them. There's still people out there looking at the parents. But I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care what social media was saying. I would not care whatsoever. I would still be talking and telling them anything and everything they needed to know so that they could start holding people responsible. And especially if it's not just the boyfriend. I mean, she's got to be a little bit, if she's not involved, she's a little bit more privy to some information. So then why wouldn't she continue to talk about everything and let them know so that they could start going after possibly, allegedly, maybe these other people that could be involved?
Well, what is it with mom, Jen Soto? Is it guilt or guilty knowledge?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's an excellent way to put it. Exactly, Brooks. Because she's feeling guilty one way or another. Exactly. That is the best way to put that. Guilty or guilty knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
What does she know?
But this stand by my man stuff isn't going to work for me.
Oh, no. No.
Even when he went to jail, she was texting people saying, I still love him.
That's just gross.
She could have set the entire thing up. We don't know. But more will come out, and I guarantee we're going to continue following this as gut-wrenching as it is. We will continue, and I guarantee our girl Samantha will be right here with us because she is quite the research queen.
Yeah, I actually didn't know about this. My daughter's wedding is coming up Saturday, so I've been like super, super busy. I received a bunch of text messages this morning, and then I saw that you were going live. So, yeah, I wanted to hop over and see what the heck was going on for sure, because I did not know that they were going to be having a press conference today.
Well, and I know some people said nothing burger, nothing here. Oh, I think there was a lot there. Because remember, law enforcement does not speak the way we do. There was a reason for the update. Of course, the rumors were all over the place. One was from Duty Ron. They're going to give out cause and manner of death. He was in the WFLA chat. He goes, or they could hide it. And I'm like, or you're not part of the investigation. I don't, what are you talking about? I think we can grasp what's going on.
Yeah, and the other thing I found very interesting with that too is that they were reaching out for more information, wanting people to come forward with tips, any tips whatsoever. So I think they're looking for maybe more victims or any persons involved in this that might want to come forward, because we already know how this goes. If there's other people involved, tick, 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 somebody's going to, drop the ball somewhere. I mean, we don't have Mr. Disney talking right now, but that doesn't mean somebody else won't come forward and start spilling the beans so that they, could get a deal or something. So, yeah, they were wondering if there were possible people out there to come forward. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody comes forward now after that press conference.
Well, girlfriend, I think we have a lot of stuff to go through, and I will be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. because we're going to discuss this further. And I hope our friend Samantha can come on, and all of you, because I have a feeling the pipes are getting ready to burst. I want to say thank you to all of you for being here and keeping up with the case with all of us. For Madeline Soto, no child should ever have to go through what she went through. Want a big round of applause to our friend Samantha, who always has amazing insight. And as always, thank you to the Mod Squad. And I'm going to have to say thank you to Jinbug, who called it from the minute. Before we even heard from Jen Soto, she said the mom knew. Would love to have Jinbug on to give us her insights, and maybe she can spare some time tomorrow. That would be great. But in the meantime, if I don't see you in Discord, one of the Facebook groups, just know you are the best chat and best community on YouTube. We're out, Samantha.
Thank you for having me on, Brooks. I appreciate you.
Anytime, baby.